Well, it was too short a summer, but we got a lot of accomplished this summer, which we really, with our schedule, needed to do. We did less individual work and asked the players, after we did our individual work, to do it on their own so we could try to work as a team on a new style of play for us. Something that's going to take a little time to get used to, but the guys have done a fantastic job. I've got absolutely zero complaints. I've said this many times that last year reminded me of my '87 Providence team in terms of attitude, and this year's even better. I don't think I've had as much fun coaching at any period of my life than the last 2 years, and it's been because of the attitude of the young men that we're coaching. So we're really pumped up. We're excited to see what tomorrow will bring. We're going to try to balance the team so it's fairly equal. Mango has not practiced, but he is working out, doing agility. We've gone very slow with him to make sure he's totally confident and feels good about playing mentally, because you can come off an injury like that. But sometime next week he'll probably start participating in practice, and it'll take him 2 or 3 weeks to get back in the groove, and we'll be at full strength. Questions?
Can you give us a hint what this new style of play might be?
I shouldn't say new style. It's just that we've confused a lot of people with our defense playing matchup zone, and we probably have scrapped that. We're playing 95% man-to-man. It's much more, the pressure that we're putting on ourselves right now is much more up-tempo in terms of the defensive pressure. We feel we have a deep bench, good shot blocking, so we're utilizing that more, and the tempo will be much more up-tempo, even though we've always been an up-tempo team.
Did Dane make the progress in the offseason that you expected him to?
He did.
What do you look for from him this season?
Well, he's got to be one of the scorers on the team. Obviously, we only have one person averaging 9 points per game. We don't have a double figure returning, so he's got to give us a lot of points and, get us Damian Lee's, along with V.J. King, make up for Damian Lee's points.
Rick, was it the parts that you have on this team that said, okay, you got to go more man-to-man than try the matchup zone?
I just think there's a lot of strengths to this ball club. One of the weaknesses, they're inexperienced in a lot of areas. You have many players who had a role to play last year, trying to fit in as young players, and now they have to be in a starring role. So rather than try to teach that and then hopefully be ready sometime around Christmas, we want to be ready. We did something last year that we've not done. We took all our non-conference opponents, and I'm not talking about Purdue or Kentucky or Indiana. I'm talking about William & Mary and Evansville and Long Beach State. We said they had to have 3 starters back, top 75 to 80 RPI. So we realized we play Evansville, won, I believe, 25 games last year. We have to be ready right away. So the less you have to teach in terms of defense, the better off we'll be.
How about the big guys, Honest and Mango, obviously?
Honest and Matza, it's been a toss-up. That's the only thing that concerns me. I don't know if our bench is that deep. One day, Matz looks better. One day, Honest looks better. Another day, VJ looks better. Another day, Dang looks better. So it's Ray and Jalen. Jalen looks better one day, and then Ray looks better the next day. So I'm hoping that's just good depth. But nobody's really stuck out, with the exception probably of Donovan Mitchell at his position and Quentin Snyder at his position.
And Donovan lost weight, right?
Donovan took off, and you won't recognize him. I mentioned it last year. I couldn't figure out why he was getting beat so much defensively, even though he is a low body fat guy. I just felt 213 pounds for a 6'2" guard is way too heavy. I didn't realize he was 213 because he was low body fat. But now he's at 195. And, when you take off 18 pounds, that's going to make you a lot quicker and much more athletic, and he looks terrific.
Coach, this team is extremely tall and long, especially out on the wing and down low. How does that help you defensively?
Well, I think Also, our man defense is a lot different. We have 2 man defenses we're working on. I think what you'll see tomorrow is a lot of turnovers, not because of poor offense, but because we are really in the mode, everything we do is about steals. And I think you'll see a lot of steals, but also a lot of turnovers because it's been happening that way in practice from good defense. VJ, can you say it again? Oh, he does like Dang. He puts it on the floor, shoots it, scores, quick, jumps well, good athlete, 6'6", 6'7". Him and Dang, it's very close in practice. And but we've toyed with playing VJ a little at 2 and Dang a little at 2 and playing them together. We won't do that tomorrow, but we've toyed with that as well.
So given the evenness at a lot of positions, how competitive has practice been so far?
It's very competitive. And when we make the teams even, tomorrow the red team would be opposite Quinton. It would be the red team, and I would be very surprised if the red team didn't beat the white or black team, whatever uniforms they're wearing.
How much has Quinton kind of changed your expectations, your initial expectations? How has he progressed?
Very steady, very crafty, shooting the ball much better. I think that's the one thing that sticks out is how much better we shoot the basketball. And Q is part of that equation. He shoots it much better than he did last year.
Did you think he was going to be that type of shooter when he first came in?
Like all the guys, Donovan, Dang, Q, they all came in with line drive shots. They needed strength, repetition, repeating a good shot with arc. Like right now, we're working on that with Tony Hicks. He's the only line drive shooter we have right now, so we're working on getting his arc up as well. It just takes time.
Is he your backup point guard?
He'll probably be the first sub off the bench, but he's the most athletic guard we have in terms of speed, and he's got Russ Smith type of speed.
Losing 3 starters from a leadership standpoint, who do you see really doing different?
I think Quinton. He leads a different way, but he's a quiet leader, but everybody has great confidence in him.
Is McMahon ready to play?
Yep.
What's he better at now than especially than
Stronger. He's stronger. He's good scorer. Shoots it real well. I'm David Levitt. Just looks terrific. We need to play against somebody other than ourselves to really judge. But I think tomorrow, we won't have not to say that Bellarmine or Kentucky Wesleyan, a competition will be really strong tomorrow playing against each other. We're very deep, and we're.
Coach, it looks like Watson's lost some weight. How is he progressing this season?
He's lost weight.
Yeah, it looks like he's 10 pounds lighter, at least on the roster. He was listed at 250 last year, he's at 240 now.
I think he broke off with his girlfriend. Maybe that did it. I'm not sure. I haven't noticed a weight loss with him, to be honest with you. This may be Kenny's clerical error. I don't know.
is the biggest challenge he's experienced?
I think that is the biggest. I think there's 2 or 3 things that are very concerning for me. Is one, where the point's going to come from. That doesn't bother me a whole lot, but the schedule bothers me. The schedule is the toughest schedule that I have faced as a basketball coach since being in this business. And not to make any excuses, we thought Chinano Onuaku was coming back. But that's not a big deal to us because we've got 3 centers, potentially 4, because Ray can definitely play there as well. It's just a matter of getting the guys to know it right away. We've never been a great team in November, and we've got to be. We could lose to any of those 3 or 4 first opponents if we're not really good at that point in time.
How much of an issue is the NCAA thing hanging out with the program? I mean,
It's not.
put it behind you,
We have put it behind us.
so it's not.
I just said it's not an issue. That's the best way I can answer. It's not. We haven't talked about it with the team. We haven't.
What led you to believe that Nadu might be coming back? You mentioned that a minute ago.
Well, I think he had a good year. He wasn't a guaranteed first-round draft pick, so that's pretty much why. but we're very happy and excited for him as he signed a 3, like Montrez, he signed a 3-year guaranteed contract, and that's very exciting for a second-round pick.
How much has Ray improved? He showed so many flashes.
Ray and Jalen are both terrific, and the thing that's exciting about both of those guys is so different. Ray is, his hands, his defensive wingspan, some of the things he does, amazes you sometimes. He's not real consistent at it. Jalen's a much better rebounder. Ray's a much better defensive player. So they bring two different things to the table.
Mango's recovery, when do you think he will be at 100%?
I'd be guessing, I really would be. He hasn't played basketball since last December. That being said, we don't need Mango right now. We're really deep up front. In the backcourt, we're not quite as deep, but we're deep enough.
He seemed to always be like a big leader.
He is. He's an emotional leader, but he's going to be ready, I think, in 2 or 3 weeks playing again. He won't be 100%, but by the time we go to Atlantis, he will be.
Talk about the team not being very good in November. Are you comparing it to how it is in March or how other teams are?
It's just that some of the things that we were teaching really takes a lot of time to teach. And it takes games to get it under their belt, and especially with the matchup zone. It's very complicated. It takes time. Offensively, it takes time as well to do some of the things we're doing. We're running a lot of different things offensively that you'll see tomorrow as well. And I haven't seen the offenses that we're running in a long time. So it's almost like pure motion. And very few teams run pure motion today. It'll be fun to watch.
Are you likely to implement the matchup zone later in the season?
We'll play some zone, but it won't be a matchup zone. It'll be more like you see with Syracuse. But won't be too much zone.
Brought those guys in last year and they were like instant leadership, outgoing, and talked a lot. Where do you feel that the guys you have at leadership spots on this team, are you pretty comfortable with them?
Yeah, Mango, Q, Donovan are all terrific leaders. But with this team, like I said, they're very unique. I think you guys covered them last year, so you know how special they are as young men. This is not the norm. These guys are not the norm. When I travel around and you look at the young culture today, it's not like these guys. And probably, I hope going forward I'll get teams like this again. But these guys are very, very unique. They're not your norm today. And when you go out there and meet them, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about.
So you weren't sure where the points were going to come from. How do you coach?
Well, I have an idea where they're going to come from, but like I said, Quentin's averaged 9 points a game, and Dang and all the rest of the guys. I think Dang's going to score a lot of points. I think Donovan's going to score points. I think Tony Hicks will get some points. I think Quentin Snyder will get points. I think our front court will score by committee. I think you'll see a lot of players step up and score points. They're very capable of doing that, but it's not proven yet. This is just an optimistic coach.
What led you to the idea of running more of a pure motion offense? Was it just the skill set of your players?
I think it was my experience coaching Puerto Rico and coaching FIBA basketball. I really enjoyed that, like what they did. Now, that takes a little time too, Pat. That's because you are going to see a lot of turnovers because our focus on steals is just over the top. That being said, sometimes when you have the ball in the hands of the point guard, you don't turn it over quite as much. When you got the ball in the hands of your 4s and 5s, just as much as your 1, 2s, and 3s, it's dangerous. But we worked very hard on it, and you'll see Ray and Jalen be careless because of the amount of pressure we put on them and on us. Mats he's the new Dirk Nowitzki, so that won't happen.
When you look back at
I am kidding with that statement.
when you go through these two scrimmages, is there a checklist of things that you're wanting to accomplish with these two? Or?
The thing I'm most concerned about tomorrow is there's no front court subs. It's very difficult getting through practice. Mats and Anis, Ray and Jalen play almost the entire practice, full ball for 2 hours and 20 minutes without a break. And that's tough. So tomorrow they'll play a full game pretty much without a break. Now sometimes we use Dwayne Sutton at the 4 spot, and it gives them a break a little bit. So tomorrow we're going to play a full game, pressing most of the game, full ball motion. UB Brown used to tell me when I first broke into the pro business, that the Denver Nuggets, who averaged almost 120 points per game, he said it's going to hurt you defensively because motion wears your team out offensively. And so we believe we'll be in great shape, so it won't bother us. But tomorrow it will bother us because there'll be no breaks for a few of the guys.
You talked about the difficulty of the schedule. With that in mind, especially with the conference slate, how important is it to put some challenges in that non-conference portion of your schedule?
We didn't need to do it because we didn't expect the conference to give us this type of schedule. You know, if you look at, for some reason, there's a very, very different between North Carolina, Louisville, than say Notre Dame and Boston College. You know, I don't know whether I didn't know the ACC was such a Catholic league that they give rights, special rights to the Catholics. But if you look at their schedule and look at like North Carolina and Louisville and Duke, it's a lot different. But obviously, the Catholics are closer to heaven than we are, so it's different. Now, but you look at, in a serious vein, you look at, we're playing Virginia twice. They're a top 20 team. Pittsburgh, I just spoke to their coach in the recruiting trails. He's so excited about his team with 4 starters back who are seniors. We have Syracuse, who Jim Boeheim said this is the best team he's had in 5 or 6 years. We played them twice. And who's the other one? Notre Dame, they're a top 20 team as well. So it's different. It's unique. And I think, it's no mystery. We've been the #1 TV market for the NBA draft as well as college basketball now for probably 8 to 10 years. So there's a reason why our conference schedule is tougher than a lot of people, because it's the TV market. TV dictates about 60–70% of our schedule. They tell the conference who they want on TV, and that's the type of schedule you get. So it surprised me a little bit, because generally I was used to the Big East, where when you do have the double games, you break it in thirds, and you play one team at the top third twice, then the middle division twice, and then the lower division. The ACC doesn't do it that way. So we've got to be ready, and it's a great schedule, great for the fans, great for the players, great for you all who cover it, and it'll be very exciting.
How would you compare the quality of the league to the best years of the Big East?
Well, a lot of people I've spoken to in your business, and people I respect, think it's exactly like that. They think we're a 10-11 team bid league. It looks that way on paper, as you got 6 teams, I think, ranked in the top 25. And then you have also a lot of teams with a lot of players back. So it looks that way, but we still have to play the games to determine that.
How much more have you gotten out of David Leonard than you expected in his career? I mean, the Pittsburgh game, he comes in these big shots.
Yeah. You know, I've always been very, very lucky with walk-ons, you know, from Kyle Couric, who originally came in here as a walk-on, to Tim Henderson, going back to even Kentucky, Anthony Epps. You know, we've had guys that determined whether we were going to go to a Final Four or not. They develop into scholarship players, and Levitch is one of those type of basketball players.
You said front court scoring by committee. Is that something that you think will be that way all year, or do you anticipate someone separating themselves?
I just think they're all going to play equal minutes. So by playing equal minutes, you know, I think they're all going to, and they're going to want to come out of the game. You know, the pace we're going to be playing at, they're going to be very excited to come out and get a break.
Rick, if your players came to you and said they wanted to make a statement of any kind of the national anthem, what would be your...
We've discussed that there'll be no statements being made.
You had that discussion with them already?
I told them if in anything, and I'm not just talking about the injustices of an innocent person being killed. I told them anything that's bothering them socially in life, to come up here just like I am right now and state your case. It's a free country. You just get up there and you just say your piece. It'll go national. And if there's something bothering you socially, go ahead and say it. Get up there and say it.
Rick, how far along is ready to contribute as BJ compared to other true freshmen?
I think he's ready to contribute right away. When you play against Dangadell each day and you more than hold your own and some days get the better of him, you're ready to play.
Didn't really see me last season.
Dang? It's tough to tell because VJ's pretty much on the same level. It's really tough to tell. But I love them both. You know, they're both terrific.
Coach, is that development of the reserve point guard spot, is that maybe one of your top concerns heading into these early games?
Well, we can play Tony there, we can play Ryan there, we can play Donovan there. So, not really.
Coach, you talked about the teams offseason with you. This time of the year, do you feel like, okay, let's just get going again? Because you've been practicing a long time, you've been doing a lot on the recruiting trail, you had a couple weddings